It's a good thing to be compared to legends like Kiaben, Arge, and Franco.
We are here for her.
I want to be Vainah. I want to be myself when I go into the field. So I want, in the future, to be like, oh man, that is Vainah.
Libbie Janse van Rensburg gets us underway. Janse van Rensburg makes a tackle. Janse van Rensburg just crossed the 200-point barrier.
Well, it's not every day that you get to bring your friends to work day. We are at SuperSport Unplugged, and I get to hang out with probably two of the coolest people that I've ever got to hang out in my life. I've got Libbie Janse van Rensburg as well as Vainah. How did she do it? Ubisi sitting with me, Bulls, Daisies, and Springbok women in the house. Ladies, welcome to my office.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Layla.
Thanks, guys. I also put photos of you guys up on the wall just because I realized it would make you feel comfortable.
I feel so special.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I mean, it's been a crazy year. 2024, I think, has to probably be the biggest women's rugby year that we have to speak about. But before we get to that, Vi, I want to know a little bit about your life, because we did this for you, by the way. How did you get here? What was the reason why you wanted to start playing rugby? Because it's not the easiest choice to go into, especially at now the age of 21.
I've always been a person who is in love with sport. I actually don't know how I got into rugby, but then it was something that was introduced at school, and then I decided that I should join rugby. I was doing athletics, and then I was not so much in love with athletics. Yeah. So when they introduced rugby at school, I just decided that I should have something that I love. I just can't do. I just can't stay and do nothing. I want to be involved in sport. I will read books, yes, but then I want to do sports on the side. Yeah, so yeah, I just decided I should do rugby because soccer was not my best friend. So that's why.
Libs, I don't know if there's something happening in the water in Limpopo, but you guys both come from that area. We've got Rumani Potgieter from there, right? Some curries all from there. I mean, it's a bit of a trek. It's a good 3-hour drive from Limpopo to get to Pretoria. But your story is a little different because you come from a touch background, and we'll probably get into it a little bit more. But, you were told you're not good enough, and now you are the top point scorer for the Springbok women. I mean, that in itself is a journey to be able to get to where you are today.
No, look, definitely, it's been an absolute roller coaster from the start to where I am now. Every day when I look back, I'm like, oh, I can't believe, this is where I am. And I hope that it inspires other people, because I know I've walked the path. I've faced so many challenges to get to where I am. And that is life.
Yeah.
And everyone needs to realize that you might think you've made it now, and then quickly, life will humble you.
Yeah.
So just because you're getting to some point, don't think the hard work's done now.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's something that people can take away when they read my story and when they look at how far I've come with my career.
Quickly, just into that camera over there, quickly just go like this. You got a little something there? Oh, yeah, I love that. I mean, women's rugby, I think if we look at the Olympics now, because I think that's really good to touch on, someone like Ilona Mars completely kind of changed the landscape of the game. How much has that actually done for the game thus far to see? I mean, she's on Dancing with the Stars at the moment, so it's so broad. How much has that actually helped the game grow within the past 2 months?
I think if you just look at the power of social media, firstly, I mean, she went
both of you are TikTokers, I think.
we do our best. But if you look at, they went into the Olympics, sevens rugby, it's there, but it's not really as big as, your track and field stars and all of those things. But I think, what makes a difference is getting a medal. Yeah. Getting an Olympic medal makes you a star. And I think she's risen to past sports star into that celebrity sphere. I mean, like you say, she's on Dancing with the Stars and doing all of these great things in America. I think America also is a very good platform for those kinds of things, because they, everyone's so engaging in those kinds of things. Where I think at home for us, it's not that great yet, but like you said, the last 2 months have been absolutely amazing for women's rugby. So we need to just keep riding this wave and keep doing what we're doing.
But you obviously have come into this system, I think, a lot later than we went into the system. What's your experience been of it? Because we said we did this so that it could be better for you guys. I mean, you hear these stories and you hear what we've gone through, but, you know, it's not what you're experienced. Sitting in it now, what is the dream? Because it can only go up from here.
So, like, it's a good thing that you guys have built this up to this far. And then as young as I am, I've come into this system, and then it's something that also me, I would like to take it further so that young girls coming after me could have the best careers of their lives, have the be in the best environment. You guys have worked for us, so we should work for the other young girls that are coming after us. So yeah, I think that's it.
So I've heard that they say that you are a mixture of Franco Mostert, Eben Etzebeth, and Erge Snyman. Do you think someone should be like, you want to be a mix of Vainah, myself, or those people you kind of look up to you know, do what you've done and break, you know, insane barriers? Because it's like, we know you on a personal level, but when you get onto the field, I'm very scared of you.
So yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to be compared to legends like Eben, Erge, and Franco. I mean, like, I couldn't believe it myself when the whole world is comparing me to people like Eben. So I'm like, yeah, it is a good thing, but then I want to be Vainah. I want to be myself when I go into the field. So I want in the future to be like, oh man, that is Vainah, you see, and everyone else that is coming after me, and then those young girls who plays low forwards and all this, like, I want them to be like, oh man, that girl it reminds me of Vainah Ubisi. So yeah, but then I really feel good, and it's something that I didn't think I'll be being compared to people like Eben. I mean, like, yes, I started watching rugby because of him, because Eben was, I played lock forward, and then I didn't even know there was a women's rugby. So every time I was watching rugby, it was because I want to watch Eben.
Yeah.
He was the only one.
I think you and many other people.
He was the only person that I knew in the rugby field when the Springboks were playing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's such a good feeling now because.
I think we're getting there though.
Yeah.
I think slowly but surely people are starting to know our names.
Yeah.
People are, you know, they're in the crowds, they know Vainah now, they know Libbie. There's so many players that we are starting to make those ground-making moments to get ourselves up there with these big names. Like I said, it's great to be compared to the men. I mean, they've worked hard to get to where they are.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're also working hard. We're also, you know, laying the path for the young Vainahs to come through. And I love it when I speak to little girls and they're like, oh, their rugby stars is Vainah.
Oh.
And it's so cool because it actually
She's actually only 5 years older than them.
Yes,
that's the crazy thing is that they think, you know, they put you on this pedestal and think, yo.
And it's just only
amazing.
has been 2 years, and it's like
And
this.
Look at you now. You're a
Look at you
back-to-back champion.
Look at
I
you
mean,
now, girl.
we want to actually talk about the back-to-back champions before we get to the Springbok women stuff, because Libs, 2021, when I moved to Pretoria and when I came in as your coach and somehow I became your teammate, you know, if we just take us through that journey, because I mean, we were there, she wasn't there. It was late nights, 2 hours, ice cold Pretoria weather, to now be a professionalized system. That is growth in itself, and that's a 3-year growth. But there was a lot of groundwork laid before you guys could now say you are back-to-back champions.
No, definitely. I think it just shows you the difference. A little bit of investment, a little bit of interest from the public can really make in a sport. And just something simple like us getting the opportunity to play on the main pitch, you know, that's something that never happened.
Yeah.
But that's something that made such a huge difference for us. And I think, like you say, the work that we put in way back when.
And the COVID tests.
And the COVID test.
No one understands the COVID test.
We had to do COVID tests before every game. It wasn't great, but I think all of us saw a better future. And, you know, a little bit of hope, I think, goes a long way as well. We all were just hoping for something better. And there was always talks for a long time about a union going professional. And I think the fact that the Daisies went on and did it.
Yeah.
And now we are known as, you know, the Bulls Daisies.
Yeah.
We have our own name. We're not just the Blue Bulls falling with the men.
Yeah.
We're the Bulls Daisies. That as well. You know, so those small things that that makes girls go, wow, look at these girls, look at this union, look what they're doing. It's absolutely amazing. And now here we are back-to-back champions because of those investments, because now we don't have to train at night for 2 hours, 3 times a week.
It's cold.
In the cold, in Pretoria, on the hard field.
Yeah.
Now we get to train every single day in the sun. Well, sometimes the weather's not that great, but at least it's a day job now.
Yeah.
Which is what we wanted, and it's absolutely amazing to be here.
And 2021 was also kind of the year that you made your national debut. It was I remember getting the list, and there were quite a couple of names on that list, and I think for us as your friends, knowing kind of what you've gone through, to be able to finally see your name on that list, and then it was the World Cup, followed that suit, and that was insane. That moment in itself was incredible, because now you are the top point scorer. But tell us through that journey of just why you weren't on that list earlier.
So I never considered playing 15s. I was very much invested in 7s. And that was the only sport that I was playing. I think at that time, as well, in South Africa, 15s wasn't big in our country. Yeah. It's not something that was attracting people, attracting sponsors. I think I had the same mindset as many people have now. I didn't want to play it. It wasn't a pretty game.
It wasn't a pretty sport, because there's a stereotype around it, right?
Big stereotype around it. And it was messy. The skill level wasn't there yet. And I think you can see today there's like a massive jump, a leap to where the ladies' skill set is now compared to back then.
Yeah.
But I think I never gave it a chance, was trying my heart out for the 7s. Yeah. And I came to a point where I sort of realized, what?
I'm going to go into retirement.
It is what it is. Like, there's only so much I can do. Yeah. And COVID happened, and there was nothing happening with the 7s. Got a call from Coach Gerrit at the Bulls saying, listen.
What a guy.
Next year's World Cup, it's got pushed out from a year, with a year because of COVID. He reckons I could make the team. And I was like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm not feeling the 15s thing. And never mind the fact that when I came in, he's like, okay, fly off. And I was like, cool, that's the number 10. That's all I know. Yeah. Nothing else about playing fly off in 15s. Yeah. Went in there, had to learn to kick off of a tee, which was the most painful thing I've ever had to do.
And now you've got the weirdest kicking style.
Now, it gets the job done. What do we always say? Yeah. So looking back at that, I think making that decision to transition over to 15s was definitely, I think, a life-changing decision for me. The moment I changed to the 15s, played a season at Bull, got capped as a Springbok. Yeah. So many good things were happening. Women's rugby started growing. I think there was a couple of us that came in that also assisted this big boom in women's rugby. Yeah. I think there were a couple of us that weren't buying into it. Yeah. But if we can't expect the public to buy into it if we're not buying into it ourselves. So it's been a journey, but here we are. It's been a struggle.
But we're here.
But we're here.
WXV. That's kind of been this one big competition. We've just come out of WXV. You turned 30 and tore your calf. But it was your first year playing WXV. Second year playing WXV. And if you take WXV last year versus this year, numbers wise, people coming out wise, it's been insane, because you played in Madagascar and we saw how incredible it is in Madagascar in terms of playing in the stadium.
Stadium, it's great.
But WXV has kind of been this competition that World Rugby said, this is what we're investing in. And just for you to be able to come into the system, see this professionalized sport, did we ever think it was going to get there?
No, being part of the WXV, it was such a great feeling. I did play in the WXV last year, but then I think this year was much different. And then I actually enjoyed it this year, because I think last year I was still growing in rugby, and then I was still learning from the best who has been in the business. Playing with Cindy, it was...
Let's actually, wait, before we get WXV, let's actually talk Cindy, because Cindy's going to go into potentially a World Cup next year, What is it like to be able to play next to the most capped women's Springbok in the world?
The best in the business.
Yeah. Just tell us that journey.
She's so good, man. She's so cool. When I'm next to her, I know I'm very safe. So, I enjoy playing around here. sometimes when we're in the field, I just look at her and I'm like, no, man, I'm actually standing next to a legend here.
Yeah.
And one thing about her, she's a comfortable person to be around, and you can actually talk everything that you want to talk with her, and then she can advise you. She's actually a great person. So like I've been playing with her all this time, and then I was like, no, man, Cindy is such a great player, and then she's a great person. So I think it's a great opportunity for me to be playing with Cindy. Yeah.
And then, so WXV1, last year was there, but it was the debut tournament. Kind of not enough people knew about it, but it did help add those extra test caps to your name, because it kind of created an opportunity to play more internationals at higher levels. Scotland, you guys played Italy, you played Japan, and now this year you got Italy again, you got Japan again, and then we got the Wallaroos, and we'll touch on that Wallaroos game a little bit now. But just the jump in your team, there's been a coaching change. What is that jump? Can you feel it personally as players on the field, that jump from last year to this year?
Yeah, I think, we had this thing of changing the coaching staff and all the stuff. Yeah, I thought it wasn't going to be easy. But then going into preparation of the WXV after changing the coaching staff, I think being with Coach Suez de Brain and Coach Bafana, like they tried to get to know us, and then we tried to connect with them, and then it was such a great thing to do. I mean, we try to connect as coaches and players, and then I think they are very great. And in these last 2 months that we have been with them, we did connect, and we try to have like a relationship between players and coaches, and then by the WXV finished, it was like we've known them for a long time now, and then I think it was so great being around them.
Look, I think we have to give credit where credit's due as well. Our team has been together now for such a long time.
It's the most consistent side.
We've had such a consistent squad, and you can see the improvement in skills that we have. Our catching and passing has improved massively compared to 2 years ago. I mean, we just had to catch pass. That's improved. There's so many things that have improved. Our game knowledge has improved. I think you can see that the ladies, there was a shift made last year when we played Samoa in that warm-up game in Hermanus in the rain.
My hometown.
It was awful, let me tell you. I think for me, it felt like that game was a shift in everyone's mental state of that idea of we don't just want to play for the caps. We're not just here to earn caps. Now it needs to be our turn as well to start winning. And I think you can see that from last year's WXV, we were competitive there. We're competitive this year. We're just going from strength to strength. And honestly, the girls have been putting in so much work. You can see that everyone's coming together. You can see that people are trying to understand better, trying to do things to improve, trying to learn an extra skill. I mean, we have a 2-pod lift now, and we have a 12-man maul, and like there's such crazy things happening now. But that's because our foundation has been laid, and the ladies, have that rugby knowledge. They have those skills, so we can experiment with funny things like this now.
But let's actually go back to Madagascar, because Madagascar is an experience in its own, and I think everyone thinks we're talking about we like to move it Madagascar. That's not the Madagascar.
It's not the movie.
That's not the Madagascar that we actually went to. It's sad driving down those roads and seeing what these people are going through, but they fill the stadiums, and they're there and they're vocal, and their side is their pride. That's their national sport. I mean, Libs, like, we would only dream to be able to sell out the DHL Stadium in the way that they sell out the Maki Stadium in Madagascar.
No, I think for that country, like you say, when you drive in there, the rugby that happens there is hope for them. It's just a little bit of joy in their everyday struggles. I mean, I think that's the Africa Cup being hosted there is the highlight of some of those people's year when they know the Springbok women are coming. we're there, Kenya's there. You know, I think for them, it's really something that just makes all the suffering and the pains, like it's just a little bit of a silver lining on their dark cloud. And I think, especially after this year, seeing Madagascar qualify for the WXV3 tournament,
And they got their win.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
That is showing you the growth that women's rugby, not in the world, in Africa, is going through. It's so inspiring and it's amazing. I mean, I'm sure it was half of those girls' first times being overseas, going to Dubai to play in the WXV3. It's absolutely amazing and it's so inspiring to see what they've done.
Yeah, and that's the competition where you guys ended up winning Africa Cup, which means you now get to qualify for the big dance for next year. Rugby World Cup, England 2025. I mean, they stopped, let's just put perspective, they stopped pre-sale tickets because it was selling out so quickly and the tickets were being sold that there was going to be nothing left. I mean, England's top in the world at the moment, and now you get to go to England, the home of rugby. Your first Rugby World Cup experience, is it butterflies yet? Is it nervousness? Or do you think there's a couple more things that need to happen before we think about England 2025?
No, not yet. I think when they release a squad for the World Cup and then I be in that squad, and then that's when I'll have butterflies and goosebumps. But then I think playing for the World Cup, my country, like Rugby World Cup, is going to be a massive thing, like a huge thing for me. And actually, rugby was not part of my plans growing up. And now, next year's World Cup, and then I'm going to play World Cup. Yeah. And it's just a big thing for me. And I just hope that I do make the squad. And
we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yes.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, but then
you don't have to hope too hard.
No, but I think, Libs, I'm gonna bring up some PTSD. Are you okay with that?
Go for it.
South Africa versus Fiji, 78th minute. You kick the kick of dreams.
Kick of my life.
Kick of your life.
Kick of my life.
This is what, like, the moment you
that
prepared
would have
for.
been newspaper articles.
That's the kick of your life, right?
Janse van Rensburg slots the winning kick for the Fiji game. Nope.
Yo.
A minute later, we drop the kickoff receive, and they go and score, and we lose that game. Talk us through that heartbreak, because I think I was on a rugby tour of some sort, and we'd like landed in the airport and we were watching the last minute. And I know the whole airport stood still because we were celebrating your kick. And then a minute later, it kind of all shattered. But now...
You could have just paused there forever.
I know. That's why I said it's PTSD, even for me talking about it. But talk us through that moment, because obviously someone like Vainah wasn't there. You would have seen it, but she wasn't there.
But I was heartbroken, even if I watched it over the phone. I was like...
There's PTSD for everyone, you know, like... Now that, and now being able to qualify another one, you know, and we'll get into the pool stage and we'll get into the pool draw and we'll get into the fixtures. But that's, I mean, I don't even want to know.
Okay, so obviously going to the World Cup, we were targeting that game. We knew we could take Fiji. Of course, they also were targeting us because we were in the pool of death, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So sussed each other out.
Yeah.
The whole game was tough. It was closely matched up to that last minute, you know, and when we got that penalty, I remember looking and I thought...
For South Africa!
I thought, cool. Like, it's here, close to the line.
It was like on the 15.
I'm going to kick it to the corner. We're going to score a try. I have faith in my forwards.
Off their feet.
I'll never forget, Unam comes to me. Little Unami, she says, Jom, look at the poles. Look at them. Look at the poles. And I'm like, I see them.
For South Africa.
I see them. We're not right in front of the poles. We're on the 15.
Yeah, there wasn't an easy
Not
kick.
on the 22. It's out quite a bit. Cindy comes to me. She's like, Joby, go for poles. Everyone is saying to me, go for poles.
Yeah.
The only person who was doubting in that moment was me. No one else. And that moment where Unam was like, look, you can do it. I thought to myself, you know what?
Because she's seen you do it at training,
all of these girls are backing me right now.
Yeah.
I can do this. This is easy. I do this all the time. And I remember lining up the ball and Fiji was booing so bad. And I always took Fiji as a country, you know, that's so happy.
Everyone's love.
I remember them booing. And when we were in camp training for World Cup, Coach Stan at the time would make us train, death.
Yeah.
Then, before the team's allowed to get water, okay, Libbie, you're going to kick the ball from here. If you miss, the team doesn't get water. So that was how training went. So you must know the pressure was always the pressure was always on. So I lined up the ball. Remember hearing Fiji booing, and as I was
needs water.
looking at the ball, it's like everything just went quiet. Went through my process. The moment I struck the ball, I knew it was over, but I knew the game wasn't over.
Yeah.
So we kicked it. Everyone's celebrating. I'm like, yes, but guys,
yeah.
it's not over. We need to get this kick off.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the kickoff didn't go away when that ball bounced. Just rugby games are one of the bounce of the ball, you know.
And do you think the composure within the squad now? I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say a lot of that squad that played that game is going to be a lot of the squad that's going to go. You know, do you think that PTSD is going to live kind of in everyone's hearts forever? To be able to realize that we need that minute of composure. We've been drawn in a pool with Italy, Brazil, and France. Games that we can target, games that we know we can target. Like, do you think even in that Wallaroos game that we saw, where it was in the final moment, that little bit of composure is just all we need to potentially make our first quarterfinal?
You know what? I think our team has been preparing for moments like that now. We've had the learning curve of a Fiji. We've had the learning curve now of a Wallaroos, of an Italy, always coming so close and little things maybe not going our way. I think our team's going to peak at the right time and it's going to be World Cup next year.
Yeah. Wallaroos, WXV. Do you think
Curl.
that has prepared your squad and prepared the women for what England Rugby World Cup 2025 holds?
Wallaroos game was a hell of a game, and then I'm so proud of the girls, the way that we managed to play. I mean, like, everyone expected that to lose to Wallaroos with a big gap, like big gap score. So the way we kept the game and the way we managed to keep up with the Wallaroos game, because they're playing a fast rugby and then they thought that we couldn't cope with their game. So I think the way we handled it as a team, mentally and physically, I think we step by step we're getting there. We going into the right direction with the World Cup, and I think that's it. Yeah.
Sia Khaleesi was at your training. How much has his support meant? To be able to be there, I mean, Mans was dressed in Springbok woman kit head to toe. He was at the game, at that specific game. As forwards, because I mean, you guys were the ones training with him. How much did it mean to actually have someone like that there?
It meant a lot. Like when he came to the training and trained with us, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm actually training with Sia Khaleesi. And then when we were about to go play with the Wallaroos, he made a video like inviting everyone to come at the Athlone Stadium to watch the game against Wallaroos. And then when he mentioned my name there, I was like, what? Does Sia know me? And I'm like, oh my God. I just cried. And I was lying on my bed and I was like, no, man, I'm actually doing a great thing here. I mean, there's no way I could be recognized by Sia Khaleesi and then I expect that I'm not feasible. And but then I think he showed a lot of support to us in this WXV games. And then that day against the Australia game, the stadium was quite full. Like at least the crowd was there, and then you could feel that there's actually support. When there's something good that we're doing in the field, you could hear this crowd screaming for you, and then all the stuff. So like it was just a great day that day. It was like Sia really supported us in this WXV, and then we really did appreciate his support.
Hopefully we'll get him to England next year. But how much does that mean? Like,
I think it's absolutely amazing. I mean, he's got such a great following in South Africa. People often like to say Sia Khaleesi is the Springboks.
He is the head boy of South Africa.
He is the head boy of South Africa. And to have a guy like him who's so influential, who's already inspired so many people, to say to them, hey, listen, something great's also happening here.
Yeah.
Look, the men, they are on another level.
Yeah.
But it took hard work and it took the country support to get them where they are. And I think Sia's also noticed that we need that same support. We have to get the country behind the ladies just to give us another little edge, to give us another push to go to the next level. And I think it's definitely getting there.
It's an invitation to all the other Springbok men to also get to the trainings. Rugby World Cup England 2025, this is where we are. Its fixtures are out. We know that it's been announced. You're starting off with Brazil.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
You could not have asked for something better.
Could not. Can I just remind you? First game, last World Cup, France.
Yeah. Now it's your last game in the pool.
Thank goodness. Now we can warm up. You know, we used to be a team. We're growing out of it now. Slow starting team.
Slow starting team.
Not just in a game, but in a tournament.
Yeah.
So, starting off against a team like Brazil, we need to go in there. We need to smash them. No mercy.
Points difference.
Points difference.
Yeah.
No mercy. Look, anything could happen in the span of now to next year. Everyone's
And you've
gonna be
never
playing,
played Brazil either.
Never played them. Everyone's going to be playing a lot of games.
Yeah.
Brazil's also going to be doing all they have to do to prepare. We just have to make sure that we want.
And we can imagine that the Sevens players who you face on the Sevens circuit would probably also be joining that side. So you've got Brazil first, back us. Italy next.
A rematch.
The
Now we can
rematch.
take them.
The rematch of death, because also WXV2 was supposed to be the rematch that we were supposed
Yes.
to win, right? And
And then
how? Okay, so Italy, rematch of death.
Yes.
It's do or die. Back here. Okay, cool. Hopefully I'm there, guys. And then, and then final game is France. Now, you played France. We've also seen France as kind of
they're not really there right now, aren't
Right,
they?
you know, they're like on this little
But they've been known to peak at the right time.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't. Hopefully we peak
Yeah.
more than they peak. Because it's not impossible. I mean, we've seen some things be done. And like I said, the momentum that our team has now, what we're working on,
Yeah.
our game plan, our skill set, everything about our team now makes other countries go, oof, got South Africa.
100%.
Oh,
Because
You
even
can't-
I
you
think
can't write us
Evie
off
Gallagher
now.
said that's the most physical side she's ever played.
You
And
see.
like they don't want to face us
And
physically.
our team lives for that.
Yeah.
We live for people saying they don't like playing against us because we're so physical.
Because they're scared of Vainah.
I'm also very glad that she plays with me at the Daisies because
I'm glad that I retired the year before she came in.
I
was
am
like,
so grateful every day when I get to pass to Vainah and have to tackle her. Let me tell you.
and it's the first Rugby World Cup we might be able to make a quarterfinals. Do you realize
It's
what
possible.
that means?
Yeah.
It's possible. You know how crazy that is?
I've never played a World Cup in my life, but
Girl.
I think qualifying for quarterfinals next World Cup will be an amazing thing. And I hope we do, and we'll get to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
We
You know,
will.
it's small things like that I think is going to, again,
Yeah.
push women's rugby. We need to win things to get the country behind us, to get that push. And just making a quarterfinal, I think the next 4-year cycle is going to be so much better.
I back us. Vi, but I know that you're a very humble gal. But talking about winning,
Very humble.
you went to a Bulls Awards in a very pretty dress. And you won an award. Tell us a bit about that award and how you got there.
Like the first day, Bulls Daises Player of the Year. I mean, like, I didn't think that I'll get it also, but then with the consistency that I put in this year from the first game of the league, actually from last year off season, preseason, I just told myself that, you know what, I want to have the best rugby year of my life next year going forward. So I prepared mentally, physically, everything, and I just like, I need to focus on my career. And and I had a little chat with someone earlier this year, and then they were like, the way you are so determined, if you don't get the Bulls Player of the Year award, I don't know. And I was like, no, man, come on, I'm just playing rugby. And then, here I was being called as an most Daises forward player of the year, and then I couldn't believe it either. But then I think my hard work really paid off, my dedication and all of this, everything else. Yeah, I think.
And we're very proud of you.
You know what's great about Vi is that she sort of snuck in.
Yeah.
Still only 21.
By the way.
Snuck in from the first moment. People were like, "Oh, who's this Vainah girl?"
Yeah.
You know, we noticed when you came.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think your determination, everything is just taking you from strength to strength to strength. And still so young, still so much potential. People need to know this name.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Vainah's still going to go so far. I think he's going to accomplish so many great things. Maybe most capped Springbok woman ever.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm
at
aiming
21.
for.
So young.
Yeah.
You're playing the rugby of your life at the moment.
Yeah.
It can only get better. I'm so excited to see what you're going to do.
Same.
No pressure or anything.
No pressure. No pressure. We're going to be, Livs and I are going to be like the old aunties that's going to sit on the couch and we're going to be watching you play.
Yes, I played with her.
I think for little girls looking at you guys now too, I think it's also important to know that, yes, you are rugby players, but you're also humans off of the field. So I think I'm going to touch a little bit about that. We spoke about too blessed to be stressed. Vi, Joey, you're a fashionista. I've seen you. No, I've seen you, babe. I've seen you. Is it something you enjoy? Is it something that potentially, because does that give you extra confidence? Because I know Ilona Ma plays with lipstick on because it gives her confidence, you know? Talk to us a bit about your, just your presence off of the field, because it's what we want, you know? That's what we want to see. We want to see characters.
I don't know, man, but I actually don't do much when I'm off the field.
Just beauty. Just get 21-year-old beauty.
Actually, I love shopping. I love shopping. If I could have all the stores of the world, just go in there and take everything for free. Oh man!
Wow! All right.
I love shopping and I love clothes. I love clothes so much. I just don't have the plans for those clothes.
Oh, okay. No, same.
Okay, nowhere to go.
And I do buy them. Every chance that I get, and then I get in a store, and then I see something that I love, and it's just like, no, man, this thing could actually look good at me, and I'm actually buying it. And okay, I bought it, and then it's there in the closet, and where am I going with it? But then it's there, and cool. I love shopping with all my heart, and I don't. And when I wear, it's just something like I first think of it 3 days before, and I'm like, what am I going to wear? I have to think now. What am I going to wear?
Yeah.
And I think I combine everything that's combining in the wardrobe, and I'm like, that one will fit with that one. And then, maybe when I'm just sitting here like this, and then I'm just planning my
Planning a look.
What am I
and
going to
I'm
do?
like, I saw this thing in the shop, and I think it'll
Got a Pinterest mood board.
it'll look good with this, and then now it's short with a shoe. And if I go to Nike, maybe I'll get this. I'm like that. So, but then when I wear, I make sure that it comes out perfect.
Libs, I heard you this weekend on a mic. You're going to take my job. So. You're a bootable model. I don't think everybody knows that you're a bootable model. There's a cutout of you. It's really fantastic. We should get the cutout and put it in Linda's lapa.
We should.
But how? Why? Is it? Do you just think I'm gonna look great in these shorts?
No,
how did this happen?
What? I am not a fashionista like Vi. I actually just try my best. Trying my best, putting on clothes.
Surviving.
I usually go for comfort over style.
Yeah.
I'm that person. But I think what I love about my involvement with the Bootable Wear brand is the fact that it gives me an opportunity to really, get pretty, do my makeup. They take pretty photos. And that's something that we also need to show to girls. Like, look, here I am, rough and tough on the field, playing rugby. But that doesn't mean that you can't be pretty off the field.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing.
Because it breaks the stereotype.
It breaks a stereotype. A big driver for me is just getting that message out there to young girls. Like, listen, you don't have to be all rough and tough, messy all the time if you play rugby. You can get off the field, You can plan your outfits 2 days in advance. You know, you can be a model for whatever.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy being involved with them.
We're going to almost close this off, but I want to get some tea. Vi, we'll start with you. Your most famous person on your contacts?
My most famous contact.
Mine's Vainah.
Mine's Libbie.
Oh, the Lord, man.
Don't lie, it's Sia.
Come on, it's Sia.
Sia. He's phoned you probably.
You can look on FaceTime every night.
Let me think.
That's a good question.
Most famous.
Yeah.
It's Baba Lalacha.
Oi!
That is a good one. Don't make it into a Rugby World Cup trailer promo if you're not famous. I think that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Bibi's good, and she's a better person off the field even.
She
better.
is. It always helps when, you know, people are nice as well.
And she's
Not
also a
just great rugby
fashionist.
players. Yeah.
Speaking of, hold on. Let's actually just, now that we've touched on Bibi, because Bibi was like a game breaker. She was the first player to sign an international contract. How much has her, Dana Lochner, Kata Jacobs, and Delwa Gwala, they're all playing in the PWR at the moment. How much has their input actually helped the team grow? Because, you know, they bring back something that we don't get on the side.
No, I think you can definitely see it when they're on the field. And I think someone who's not too far off of that is Vainah. I know she's with us at the Daisies now, but honestly, 21 years old, playing the rugby of her life, so talented.
Yeah.
I only can imagine
how many people are calling her
of so many people, you know, in that Premier League. So I think it's absolutely amazing. And any girl that gets the opportunity to go, they should definitely take it. I think our rugby is growing, but the competition is not at that level quite just yet.
Yeah.
And to get the opportunity to play there is just going to take your rugby to the next level.
And Vi, like, they're obviously now played in those conditions, so they understand what it takes to play there in August. You know, how much is that going to help us potentially next year?
I think, well, it's a great thing that they are playing in that PWR league. And then with Daniel and Katha, like they both logs and we see some of them. I think they do bring a lot of experience in here. Sometimes when you don't understand a thing, like you do ask them, and then they actually help with something, and then you ask them something, and then they'll answer you, and then we actually work great together because they have much experience that they get in that league more than what we have here. So I think it's a great exposure for us as well. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I just took us there. Liv's most famous contact on your phone.
Most famous contact? That's a very good question.
Don't say Layla Arrison.
I want to say Layla because I know this girl who works at SuperSport, right? Who like hooks me up with all of these interviews. Between her and Couture, I think they're my most go-to people on SuperSport. That's a very, very good question.
No pressure.
No pressure. I also don't want to out anyone, you know, and
you can.
expose that I have their number. Maybe they don't know I have their number.
That's the reason we asked this question.
It might be awkward. So
we'll tag them.
No, probably don't. Well, in the line of sitting next to a legend here, I'm gonna have to say probably Victor Matfield, eh?
Oh, that is legendary.
Yeah.
Vic, I think Vic's in the next studio. Let's just quickly go check. Just see who's next door. Okay.
A young Victor over here.
Young Vic. Vi, if you had to have a movie made about yourself, what do you think it'll be called?
Also want to know who'd play her.
Okay, we'll figure that out. Is it gonna be a rom-com, action, horror?
Horror story of my life.
Yeah. I don't action, horror.
Horror.
I think horror.
Horror.
Yes. I actually like horror movies.
The Beast Within.
Beast Within.
That's the name of the movie.
Yes, I like
it.
The Beast.
I like it.
The Beast Within. I like it. You don't know what you're getting. Libs?
Movie title
and genre.
Genre, probably be like an action movie. You know.
So, I was actually hoping rom-com seeing you're in love.
I mean, I got there. Okay, maybe ask me in 5 years.
Let's do a
Oh,
mystery.
action
With a love story at
with
the
a
end.
little love side piece, you know. And it'll probably be called something like In Dust We Trust, you know, something like that.
In Dust We Trust. Hectic.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And I would love Blake Lively to play me.
Blake Lively.
Yeah, she's tall. I'm tall.
Okay.
Yeah. She's good looking. I'm good looking. You know?
I'm also her friend that keeps her humble. So
That's why we're friends.
excitement level out of 10 for next year before we wrap this up.
Massive. 20. 20. I think the shift that women's rugby is going to take for us next year is something that we don't even know. We're not going to know until it happens.
Yeah.
And it's going to be massive.
My final call for the people of South Africa. If you,
the camera.
if you can look into that one if you want. You can look into that one. If you had one message for the people of South Africa leading up to next year.
People of South Africa, we appreciate your support so much, and then the support that you've shown us in the previous tournament that we've been in, the WXVs, it was massive. And then going into World Cup next year, please don't stop. Be there for us. We really appreciate your support. Your support really means a lot for us. And then we will do our best to make you proud. And yeah, thank you so much.
Well, I mean, on that note, we could not have ended it better. Friends, family, previous colleagues and future colleagues. It was lovely to have you guys here. Thank you for joining us on SuperSport Unplugged. I love hanging out with you. We should do this more.
We should.
And to all of you guys, the message has been asked. It's been set. Rugby World Cup England 2025 is almost upon us. And these ladies need you.